All right, welcome to the Eric Tries Too Hard podcast. This is BFF's Volume 7, I think. That's where we're at. So right now we have Brad.
Hey.
Ryan.
Hello.
And Rob.
Hey, what's going on?
So you'll remember all of these people from previous podcasts, and we've got some amount of other people joining us throughout the day. But the first thing I want to start out by doing is after the last couple BFF episodes, I realized that we, collectively, and more specifically me, have been shitting on Ryan a lot. It's been the very easy target. He usually fights back, but last time we did this, he didn't, and I felt like a piece of shit for a whole week. Which,
yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I decided a new policy for this week only. If you're going to have the urge to insult Ryan, you have to instead give him a compliment.
All right,
So,
I'm out.
No, Brett. I think we can still make this work. Cause take a look. I have an idea. Ryan, you have a great haircut, and your glasses make you look very charming.
Thank you, Eric. You can go fuck yourself.
All right, now we've gotten it started. Okay, so now Rob is in a situation where he doesn't necessarily know the other guys as much. So Rob, could you I guess introduce yourselves to anyone who may not have watched your episode of the podcast, and for Ryan and Brad, who I'm sure didn't watch your episode of the podcast.
Yet.
Yet. Brad's a trooper. He's making it through the whole back catalog. I don't know how he's doing it, but I appreciate it.
My name's Rob Banks. I'm a Comic-Con LA, so I'm kind of used to these compliments that you're giving. You know, it's like mostly in West Hollywood, but I mean, it's not really too shy for me. It's interesting how you guys kind of have that gay lifestyle out on the East Coast. Nice.
We do our best.
You know? I'm glad you guys are supportive.
Yeah, we're very supportive, very supportive.
Except in North Carolina, which just keeps getting worse.
Yeah, Ryan really has. He's got a great state senate, great governor.
Oh, it's amazing. If these guys were in the country, we'd be in heaven.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Gay marriage is recognized in North Carolina, though, right?
Yeah, except
it's recognized
now,
as an abomination in North Carolina.
No, it is finally legal here in North Carolina. However, the most recent thing is a bill went through that said that magistrates, if they have religious views that they go against a group of people that are getting married, doesn't even have to be gay. I think racial bias can also be included under that. So if there's an interracial couple and the magistrate doesn't want to marry them, doesn't have to. Same thing for gay marriage too. So
so just find a different magistrate, right?
Our tax money is going to pay for their salaries, to do their civic duties. They're not. So wonderful.
You should make like offensive wedding cakes now.
They should.
On the news and get a lot of like publicity and like it would probably be good for you.
I like the three sides of this discussion you guys just demonstrated within just a few sentences. Ryan, hardline, everyone needs to be more progressive. Brad, if you're a progressive person, you can find workarounds. And Rob, hey, here's where you can make publicity happen out of this. That's fantastic. That's my, yeah. I don't need to analyze the thing I just fucking said.
Business plan. It's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta, always figure out how to make it monetizing or whatever. Well, that's actually, so that's interesting because, so I have there's this struggle where I've always grown up like ultra liberal, and then the liberal kids I see now, holy shit, are so extreme, and to the fact that like, as a fan of comedy, that's where it actually started encroaching in my life. It's like the old, World War II, like Germany thing. It's like, well, they came for this group, and I wasn't part of that group, so I said nothing. And then they came for the jokes, and I had to say something. Like, this is ultra PC and ultra like stuff that I believe in the goal of, but it's just seems like there's so many opportunistic people trying to hide. It's like what the Tea Party did to the Republican Party is what it feels like these like ultra like PC liberals are doing to like just liberalism in general, where they're being kind of selfish and being like, I want to co-opt your party. And I was thinking about it in terms of, did any of you guys watch The Wire? I know Ryan watched The Wire. Brad and Rob, did you watch The Wire?
No.
No.
Ryan, did you actually watch The Wire?
The first season.
God damn it! Oh my God. Before it was commercial.
No, I just stopped watching it after the first season, you asshole.
Yeah, you're just not there yet. You're not liberal enough. No, you're not white enough to watch The Wire, Ryan. So the way that I, just to catch you guys up on this analogy, which I guess my parents who watch this podcast, they'll get it. I don't know what season they're up to, but I found that like me and all my like late 20s, early 30s liberal friends, we're like the Stringer Bells. We're the old guard of like the drug dealing thing, where we have our code, we have our rules, we respect our elders, and we have perspective on the whole progressivism thing, but still trying to move it forward. But like the drug dealer from season 3 going on, Marlo Stanfield, he's just this young kid who's like, fuck the rules, fuck the elders, fuck everything. I can just break all the rules, and I can get more powerful more quickly. That's what these new people are like. That's like when I saw like these new like neoliberals are like. That's like when Jerry Seinfeld or somebody else who's like very well received in the comedy community, even in the liberal community, of like, oh no, that's like your elder. That's somebody who you follow. He'll come when he came out and said like PC culture is ruining jokes for comedians. I was so expecting it to be like, burn him at the stake from all the neoliberals. And it's just, that's, whatever, you guys didn't watch the show. God damn it. The audience right now is going moderately interested. All right, Brad, you had a topic, right? Now I got to go find another topic.
I know you're saying, like, like everybody's like looking for something to be offended by, it feels like sometimes.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, I can't tell if it's that, or if it's like, you're looking for something to be offended by so it will benefit you. I'm sure there's people in both camps, but like, I don't know, I always grew up being like, and maybe that's because I had all the big majority things, white, young, male, that it was like, okay, before I support anything that helps young people, or white people, or men, I better really check myself to go like, is this going to come across as me being opportunistic? Is this something really worth fighting for? Because it seems so disingenuous when you're like, I want rights for someone who's already privileged, even more so kind of thing.
Yeah. I have a funny story relating to that. My friend was telling me this, that happened to him in his apartment building. He's a minority, and he was waiting for an elevator with this black woman and 2 white guys. They're all there in the lobby waiting for the elevator. The elevator comes, he and the woman get on, and the doors close, and the woman is like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Just like how, trying to get to the point that the 2 white guys didn't get on the elevator with him. Well, then the elevator started going down, and all 4 of them were waiting for an up elevator, and they had just gotten on the wrong elevator that was going down. And so she kind of sheepishly looked at him like, oh, wait, that wasn't like a thing at all. We just are dumb and got on the wrong elevator. But her initial reaction was like, oh, these 2 white guys don't want to get in the elevator with us? Which cracked me up.
Yeah. Well, so Rob, you're in the comedy community. That's what you do. What you're aspiring to do. How is that? I guess that, and you're also in California. How has in general the PC community impacted you or the people you know in comedy?
Here, let me go outside and ask a liberal for you. Not too shy out here. Well, see, I was thinking about it the other day. I think we're just as a nation, like as a community, I think we're just bored because we already have everything.
We do have everything.
You know what I mean? We literally have everything, and if we don't, then it's easily affordable. You know, like an iPad is what, like $800? Like, if you put your mind to it and save some money, within like 8 months you could have one. So it's like when we see certain things like escalate or kind of blow up, we just kind of like take it as personally offense to us, to where we think we have a say on it because we're so bored and our lives aren't really, like, there isn't too much going on.
Yeah. Dude, that's a very good point. And by the way, I know I hate when people say this because it kind of takes away from the genuineness of the conversation. But if that's not a bit that you're working on, it really should be. Because just that premise of, I think we're bored because we have everything. We have everything. Yeah. Rob, where do you stand politically?
Well, I was raised conservatively.
Where are you from? That's also where I was going with that.
If I had to get an abortion, I would. There would be no hesitation. So that's kind of where I stand.
Like if you had to go, if you got pregnant.
Exactly. First I'd try Plan B, and if it didn't work out, then I'd have to go get an abortion.
Dude, remember that movie, what's it called? I think was it Junior? That where Arnold Schwarzenegger gets pregnant?
Yep.
With Danny DeVito's his buddy or something. I don't know. But yeah,
No.
Wait, what is it?
An abortion, or?
I think you're mixing them up. I think
Am I combining twins?
You're combining
and whatever
movies.
that other movie is.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, no, that's what Rob said. How crazy would that movie, that feel-good 90s comedy, taken a turn if he was like, "I'm pregnant. I need an abortion," and then it became that kind of movie. And it just all of a sudden turns into Philadelphia level 90s seriousness.
Yeah. Depressed, and he has to get antidepressants, and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
fast forward 5 years later, and there's still a memorial of some sort or something.
Well, that's the sequel. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're just trying to get this first script done. Yeah, dude. Oh, well, that's pretty sweet. Ryan, you have any opinions on the topic, or just kill all men? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean it's an interesting point about the boredom. I mean, I think we are looking for these things that we can insert ourselves into and feel important and feel like we're doing something for 5 minutes until something else comes around that we think that we can be offended by, to kind of entertain our desires again, to feel that sense of importance and do-gooding when really what the hell happens? Nothing. Just,
Yeah.
Might be a trending topic on Twitter, and then no one gives a shit the next day.
Yeah, except for the person who got fucking burned at the stake.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I don't know, for a long time I always felt, because I've always been trying to do something with music or do something with some kind of creative field, that it's I'll just say whatever, be honest even if it makes me vulnerable, or just put out something I think it's funny even if it's offensive, because I was just maybe it'll work, maybe it'll get some traction going, whatever. But the more I think about it, it's what happens if one of those things gets popular for the wrong reason? And by the time the whole internet stops vilifying you, that's fine. That's going to pass. Once all that's done, your friends and family and community know what happened. And they remember that forever. And I was thinking about, what if I was, the guy on some YouTube video where I was made to look like a moron, and then I got to go to Thanksgiving this fucking November and, hang out with my family who, just elephant in the room, everybody saw me look like a complete asshole in front of everybody. Mm-hmm. And people forget about that. It's not just, ugh.
You're dealing with real people on the other side of, on the other side of their computers. You're not dealing with imaginary concepts. And I think that digital relationships sometimes allow us to distance ourselves from our own humanity.
Ryan, I think your points are really, really well spoken and not pretentious at all. And I think that that you said it specifically enough that it really makes an impact in the world. Thank you for that. This is way better than making fun of you. All right. No,
there are about 10 bags of dicks that you can go right now. Don't choke.
Oh man. All right. So okay, cool. So I realized something recently. I don't know if Rob, you're a youngin. You may relate to this, may not. Brad, I think you actually would be the ideal candidate for this conversation. Oh, Dan's here.
What's up?
Hey, Dan, how are you doing?
I'm definitely not hungover, I can tell you that.
Well, stop spinning in your fucking chair.
Yeah.
That might help.
Oh.
So, Dan, okay, so before we jump into this is perfect. Because before we jump into this next topic, Dan, you remember Brad?
Yes, I do. Oh, man.
All right. And you remember Ryan? or I don't know if you know Ryan.
I
How's it
don't
going?
think that.
Yeah, I don't think that. Nice to meet you.
Ryan is one of my best friends and a really good guy, makes great points, and definitely has no biases towards music that shield him from liking better music.
Awesome.
Eric, every song that you've ever created has been a gem that deserves to be in the Billboard Top 100.
And your critiques of music in general and your music taste is just like above and beyond. It's like, you know what, if Pitchfork had like a somewhat more pretentious babe, damn it, I couldn't go. Dan, I've been trying not to make fun of Ryan this entire time, and it's worked so far.
Futile effort.
Futile effort, yes, exactly. Chivalrous, even. All right. So Dan, this is Rob.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Going on.
Rob's an LA comic, and his name is Rob Banks, which sounds like the hackiest comic name ever, and I cannot believe I've never brought that up.
Is he a grifter?
Yeah, are you a grifter?
No, I don't.
Grifter, son. But seriously, do you recognize the fact that your name is Rob Banks?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it does that not feel like, and I know that's just unintentional, but doesn't that feel like some like 80s brick wall comedy? It's like, coming to the stage, watch out for him if you got some money, because Rob Banks.
It's like a unintentional joke that I don't even have to say.
But Eric's going to say it anyways, because that's what he does, and he's going to then explain it. Why it's funny. Eric, why is it funny? Let's get that.
Don't ask me, because I'm going to say it.
We need the
Our listeners, I'm sorry, Eric, as you referred to them, our viewers need to know.
Because what's going to happen is I say why a joke is funny, and then I summarize it, and then I give a recap of my summary. Anyway, so here's the thing. Brad might relate to this. Dan might relate to this. Probably you other guys. I think Brad definitely will. So I listened to hip-hop way too young. Like, I remember trolling MTV at about 8 years old trying to find, like, Green Day music videos and ended up watching nonstop, like, Death Row music videos and Big Papa on friggin' repeat. And we're a bunch of white guys here. We can admit we get the urban vernacular about 10 years later. I know that Lil Jon gave us Skeet, and Dave Chappelle explained it about a year later. And but the first time I heard Skeet was maybe 5 or 6 years earlier on one of those rapper albums. That's what they're called, right? Rapper albums. And there's a lot of this vernacular that I picked up on and had no idea that I did until I hear it later down the line. I'm trying to remember the specific word. I wrote it down. But there was where Nikki was watching. My wife was watching SVU, and I guess it was Ice-T on that show. I forget what show he's on.
Yeah.
Is that the one? Yeah. He said some line. It wasn't Skeet, obviously, but it was some other line, and I laughed really hard, and I was like, oh, that's funny because that means whatever it meant. And my wife was just like, why are you laughing? And I was like, oh, it's just funny. I heard that word like 20 years ago. I never really got it in the context, and now that I'm hearing it now, oh, that's really funny. And then on screen, a character asks Ice-T what that means, and he explains it for his white and she was like, well, how did you know that? And I was like, well, I don't really know. I have no idea where I heard it. So I realized I'm the Jason Bourne of Ebonics.
Is this a topic you want to talk about, or just a setup for that punchline?
I think it was a setup for the punchline. I went into my notes on my phone and I saw it, and I was like, well, I might as well say it out loud in front of an audience.
You preface that whole thing by saying I might be able to relate to it. The only part I can relate to is just thinking Ice-T's awesome.
It was mostly because you're like 90s babies. Well, you weren't babies in the 90s. Anyway, I like how, Brad,
are you at least going to tell us the word?
No, I forgot it. I think, you know what I think that was? That was a template for a joke I was going to write, and then the word was supposed to go in there. But I saved that like a month ago on my phone and just decided to start saying words. So that's how this is going to go. All right, Brad, what was the topic you wanted to talk about?
I don't know.
Damn it! It's in the thing.
Brad, you're our only hope, man.
So much for a smooth transition. Hold on. I can tell. Oh, wait. I can tell my hip hop joke again.
No, don't do that.
You repeat it backwards.
Oh, okay. No, that would be called front loading. We don't do that here.
Yeah.
All right. So Dan was in a really super famous band called the Dropout Year Boys.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, shut up, Brad. Like you don't know Dropout Year. And so, Dan, could you regale us in just a general description of what your time in that band was like?
Oh God, man. It was pretty cool, I guess. I know that's a really awesome description, but yeah, it was.
You
really
guys
nice.
toured a bunch. You met a lot of people.
Yeah, we did. We did tour a bunch. We did meet a lot of people. we made a lot of music. Yeah, man, it was a fun time. It didn't really end so well, but I mean, I guess all good things have to come to an end at some point. Yeah, I don't know. You're gonna have to like lead me with a question.
I will. I was trying to with meeting a
I
lot of
love
people.
how vague it is.
Yeah. So Dan was in a pretty successful pop punk band. Like did really well on the East Coast in the whatever years those. What was that? 2008 to like 2011. Is that about that time span?
That's about when I was in the band. That band definitely started earlier, like around 2005, 2006, I want to say.
Well, that was an interesting thing with that band because they started out and their singer, bass player / like songwriter did really well with the band, got them to a good place, and then got kicked the fuck out.
Yeah, he had some personal issues and he wasn't able to kind of make the commitment of the band. So what wound up happening is 2 people replaced him. I was one of the. I mean, he played bass and was the singer, so. They got me in to play bass, and they got the guy who was managing the band / the guitarist's brother stepped in on vocals, and that's how we went forward with that.
The guitarist's brother, as in the manager of the band?
Yeah.
That always... Now, I mean, I don't know those dudes. That always sounds like a huge red flag to me. When the singer gets kicked out and the manager starts singing. Was that all on the up and up, or was that just kind of like what the fuck?
I mean, it was like everybody trusted him just because he was blood, literally, for one of the founding members of the band. But like it really wasn't that much of a transition because he didn't really. I mean, when he was managing the band, he was basically just acting like a member of the band, just doing all the shit that people in bands don't ever want to do, like like booking shows, like all the business shit, like booking shows, all the social media crap. Figuring out merch, just the grunt work essentially. So it was kind of a seamless transition at that point, just because he was just doing what people in bands are supposed to be doing anyway.
Did he keep doing that once he took over as lead singer?
Did
he keep doing the grunt work?
Oh yeah, of course he kept doing it. He absolutely did. But you know, it was always. I mean, one of the things he told me, I guess, is that, yeah, it's definitely all about the music, but if you ignore the fact that it is a business, you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure. And I think that's true, but only to an extent. So I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, once it becomes a whole just business thing, it loses a lot of its authenticity and just becomes kind of, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, And that's definitely one of the things that I've never really enjoyed about being in a band is kind of that inauthenticity, just rubbing elbows for the sake of rubbing elbows just to kind of get yourself further. It definitely loses a lot of its kind of like the boyhood luster that you kind of had from it. Just, just the dream of just...
Do you have a lot of boyhood lust, or?
Yes, actually.
Dude, it's so funny because when you had sent me a text after the website I write for posted my latest article about how to build a band, and you're like, yeah, good article. I don't want to do any of that. No. I don't want to do any of that.
No, I don't. And that's pretty cool though, because I mean, I picked up a guitar again recently, for better or for worse. and under the delusion I can make music or something. But
Shut the. I hate. Oh, I might have told Rob this on his episode, but like I always tell comics this: I never trust an artist who can take a compliment. And Dan is like such a good songwriter, like an unbelievably good songwriter. Like if you weren't my friend Dan, I'd still be begging you to come on the podcast. Like you're such a good songwriter. And he's like if I could write a song, like you cannot take a compliment if you're a good artist. That's just the way of the world. Ryan, tell me I'm a good artist. Tell me I'm a good songwriter.
Well,
You are the best songwriter in the world, Eric.
Hey, thanks, man. Dude, let me tell you all about my latest project. See?
Don't.
Not true. Dan's a songwriter. Sorry, keep going, Dan.
Nah, it's cool. Yeah, I mean, your article definitely touched on a lot of valid points, you know, as far as what you would have to do as an artist to kind of progress naturally. It's not just from the songwriting aspects or that, but just how you kind of have to immerse yourself into a music scene to really find an audience, because people are going to be more receptive to checking out music of people they know than complete strangers. But at the same time, if you just kind of pick out an arbitrary band to go check out for the sake of doing so, that kind of just feels disingenuous to me. Like I've never really wanted to do that. I've never really wanted to just go to a show just for my own sake. If I want to go to genuinely support a band that I like, instead of just trying to find somebody to, I guess, put in my like LinkedIn of you know.
And that's why that's kind of what I touched on, which was you have to actually give a shit. And so it's like I would go to shows just for the sake of going to shows, but it's true, I could never, and I think it shines through unless you're like a really good liar, that if you're giving someone false compliments or trying to network with somebody and you don't really care about them, they're gonna notice on some level.
So you're fucked either way.
Yeah, well, no, but what I mean is, like, if you go to a show and you find a band you actually like, that's the band you should jump to. And if that band is in your genre, and if that band has some potential to help you out in the long run, then that's great. And I think that's all part of the luck of making it in an art industry, is that you have to be playing the right genre at the right time. If you disingenuously play a genre that's doing well, you're not going to do it very well because it's not going to be authentic. Same with the bands who are doing well. If you go to see a show and the bands that you like and the bands that you relate to and get along with have no way of helping your band out, then that's the bad luck aspect. You got to do it on your own then. And you just need all those stars to align for things to work.
And this is really interesting, like kind of when I read your article, I think I kind of had a realization about my old band, and this is the truth, is they did not give two fucks about other bands.
Yeah.
They just straight up didn't. Like we were the black sheep's kind of, yeah, I pluralized sheep with an S. We were like kind of the black sheeps of the music scene in a sense, because we didn't really care about, and I'm not like waving this as like some banner that like, yeah, we didn't care about socializing with bands, we just did our thing. No, like that was kind of a bad thing. We were really disingenuous. There were they socialized with bands for the specific purpose of just getting forward the little socialization they did. People in bands avoided us. They couldn't talk to us. We were very unapproachable and just not friendly people. Like I was kind of like any interaction that would really happen, a lot of it did come through me just because I didn't really, I don't know, I just didn't really care about a lot of the petty shit that was going on. But yeah, it was just not a good atmosphere, and yeah. It was just bad.
Well, that's very interesting, because it's just like you guys had a lot of fans.
Yeah.
From even before you joined the band, and that's the currency in the world. Like as far as music's concerned, Rob, you may attest to this. It seems like in comedy, the currency is cred in the industry. As far as music, the currency is, do you have fans? And if you have fans, you can kind of get away with doing whatever you want, because that's the hardest thing to get. Rob, do you find that, like, as far as comics, it's more important for them to have fans on a smaller level, like local and regional? More important to have fans, or more important to have connections in the industry?
I think it'd be a mixture of both.
Well, that's a bullshit answer, which is no. Sorry, go on.
I mean, like if I'm doing like an independent show, either like a lounge or like a bar or something, it'd be great if I had like a following, because then I could have people who were like really eager to come check it out, because then they'd probably show up and then there'd actually be an audience. But then again, if you had a connection to the industry, then you could also possibly doing shows in a comedy club where there's a better chance of an audience actually just showing up just to show up, and you could build a following through that.
And that's kind of how I see it. Where that first way you described it, that sounds great in the short term for a comic, but in the long term, what's going to get you somewhere in your career? It's more important to have a connection in the industry.
Yeah.
Whereas with music, you can open up for when you open up for, and Dan, you could probably attest to this. When you open up for a big band, that band doesn't give a shit about you. You probably don't even meet them, or at least beyond just saying hello. When you open up for a bigger comic, from the stories I've heard, they meet you, they hang out with you typically, and you can actually make a connection that would go beyond just that one night.
Yeah, to boost your confidence, it had definitely building a following would help you beginning. But yeah.
Ryan, I just wanted to say that the decorations in your house look amazing, and your shirt fits well.
Thanks, Eric. You have a lovely podcast. I think I'm going to stay on a little bit longer. It was nice meeting you guys. And, Brad, pleasure as always to talk with you, Brad.
Always.
Bye, Eric. I love you.
Dude. I love you too. All right. I knew he had to go. I wanted to quick give him a shout before he left. So here's why I'm a dick. So Brad, the whole time I've been like, hey Brad, what was your idea? What was your idea? It wasn't. It was I told you what I wanted to talk to you about, and you said okay. And I said, so Rob, we know what you want to do with your life. You're a comedian. Dan, you got your foot in a number of doors, including music, now that you've picked that back up, and I want to ask you about your new band in a little bit. So, Brad, do you still have like really creative pursuits? I know would you say you edit video for a living? Is that a general description of what you do?
Yes, that's generally what I do.
What was your initial like dream, and do you still have that, and has that changed at all?
What is my what?
Like dream for job. Like where do you want to head with what you do?
Well, Dad.
What are you doing with your life?
Jeez.
Well, because you've always been okay. I met you freshman year of college, and like within a month, you figured out how to use video editing software. Maybe you already knew, and you made videos of everyone on our floor, and you made a really compelling storyline out of random ass videos of you just walking around campus one day, and edited it really well. Probably I was 18 at the time. It could have been shitty. I don't remember. But like, and from there you've always had a foot in the creative pursuits, but unlike everybody else, like in question, like it's not like some of us have been in bands for years trying to do comedy, trying to do whatever. You've kept your career in the realm of like, I don't know, maybe it's just for fun. Maybe you're the only one with a good head on his shoulders and you're just doing it at the right amount. But I'm curious, do you have that creative dream? Is that something that interests you?
I don't think I have the large enough ambition to pursue something all out, like say you are, like making a band or whatever.
Or whatever.
But yeah, it's like that's my job and that's what I do for work, and that's for now. That satisfies me. Yeah.
Well, from what I've seen, you've done like those 24-hour film challenge things, and you've done some pretty. Oh, from what I understand of your process in it, you've done some pretty cool shit. Like you keep in that circle of creative people.
Yeah. What's your question? Yes, I'm confirming what you just said.
All right, here's my question. Would you like me to move on?
I mean, if you have a question, I can answer it.
Okay, I guess because sometimes you have gone like more into the creative pursuits, whether it's okay. Sorry, didn't you tell me a while ago you wanted to do like at some point music video editing? And I know you took strides towards that, filming either like live performances and stuff.
Yeah, a little bit. But again, like I don't know, maybe it's just like realizing how much you'd have to like throw yourself into it to do that. That I just kind of lost interest a little bit.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. I just because I know some people aren't like I was gonna say, I don't know the general term for it. They're not boat makers, but they might go, I want to make a boat in my lifetime, or like this is a project I want to work on.
Yeah.
I always like imagine when I think of you with like, and maybe it's just because it was so long ago that you told me about wanting to do music videos. I was like, well, maybe at some point Brad wants to do a full like amazing concert video, or film like an intricate music video, or a short film or something. Like even if it's just that one time. Is that something you've ever like thought about you might pursue in the future?
I think it's I think it's more of a like I would much rather do many things than do one thing really well.
Yeah.
Like I would much rather have like do like, okay, I did this kind of, now I want to do something else kind of, instead of like I want to devote years of my life to like get really good at this one thing and make a really amazing piece of work in this one field.
Okay. Yeah. So you, I had a good analogy, but fuck that.
And so like you said, like having done like I've filmed a couple like mini concert videos and edited one or two, and so that kind of satisfies that need a little bit. So I'm like just looking for the next thing to try out now.
Okay. Well, it also sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like if you want to do something, you want to do it right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the difference. All right, we found it. We figured it out, you guys. Anybody else who's that like passionate about those kind of creative pursuits, it's like, I'm gonna put something out. I don't give a shit if it's perfect or not. I just need to do it. I need to do it, and eventually, hopefully, it'll be perfect. But that's and that's a good stance to take, because stuff that you put out is actually gonna be quality. Like I must have made like with previous bands like 4 records before I remember specifically having a conversation with some other dude who played who was a musician in college. And I was like, it's so, because we both put out albums all the time, made, and 10 people listen to them. But we were talking, and I was like, yeah, it's weird. It's like, I think I'm going to put out an album where I'm just going to take the best songs and redo them from the last couple albums. And he was like, yeah, I notice every album I make, there's like 10 tracks, but only like 2 of them are really actually good. And then that's when it was like, oh shit, maybe you shouldn't just put out everything that you do all the time. Maybe you should have some kind of quality control.
Yeah.
All right, so Rob, since the last time I talked to you, what's the most interesting thing that's been in your life?
Oh man.
Also, while you're thinking about it, Dan and Brad, Rob moved to LA at what, 19, 20?
18.
At 18, lived in a house full of dudes, including a meth addict, slept under the dining room table, and if you listen to the last podcast with him that I just put up, told the story of how he managed to talk a girl into spending the night, which is a feat among, God among men right there. So that's just an idea of where he's coming from, and I think that shows a little bit of passion for what you do. So you're willing to live like that for a little bit for that.
I told her before she walked in there, I was like, this is what we're going to do. I was like... Well, no, I texted her. I was like, hey, I'll buy you Snickers, I'll pick you a flower, and then I'll bang you on my deck.
And how many people will watch?
And it happened.
I forget.
This is the prerequisite.
I told my one buddy that because they were like, all right, so what happened? I was like, hey, man, like, what's kind of like the best way to talk to girls? And he was like, dude, just be completely honest with them. And completely blunt, and then I did it, and then I told him, and then he's like, wow, you actually did that? I was like, oh.
That was all a bunch of big talk?
I was like, you didn't expect that to, like, succeed? Or
it's
like
the George Costanza method. You just do the opposite of what you want to do, and it'll work out fine. Yeah. No, any cool shows you've played, anybody you've met, anybody you've seen, even just seen? I know you go to the Comedy Store a lot.
I saw, this didn't happen too since we talked, but I did see Jeremy Renner at the Super Bowl party that I went to.
Nice.
But that guy's a douchebag.
Why did he Hulk out on you? That's the same guy, right?
Huh? Who?
What?
Is he the Hulk?
No,
No,
he's
he's
the
archery guy. Archery
Banner.
Green Arrow, right?
Yeah.
Archery guy.
Yeah.
There are two kinds of nerds, ladies and gentlemen. Why was he a douche?
Because he took all the girls from the party.
Oh, wait, did you
The
actually go
people
to a
that
party
we
that
had.
he was at, or was he just going from party to party collecting women?
Probably both.
Both? So he
I mean,
started
if,
with your
if
party.
you were the Archie guy in this multi-million franchise film, I would go from party to party.
So wait. So describe
have a
how he
thought.
took all of the girls from the party, and tell me which of those girls you expected to go home with you and not Jeremy Renner.
None, but I wasn't able to look at them anymore.
Oh my
They
god!
went to a different room. They left.
I wasn't.
They're just all dudes now.
I wasn't able to look at them anymore. Oh my god, that's why I love
had no
comics. They're so
chance.
fucking
I
honest.
those girls, but it's still like I was watching the Super Bowl. It was the Patriots and the Seahawks. We all knew the Patriots were gonna win, so the only like beauty of it was like these beautiful women walking around.
Dan, as a
That
football
was
analyst,
my Super Bowl.
Dan, as a football analyst, did we all know that the Patriots were going to win?
I did not.
Rob, you're talking to an award-winning fantasy football writer.
Oh.
Award-winning.
I did have won an award. That is true. None of those are lies.
Not award show attending, though.
No.
No, I've never.
Who accepted? Did Matthew Berry accept your award on your behalf?
Did he?
Well, I imagine the host does that.
Oh, I don't know who accepted on my behalf. I kind of imagine they just said, "Oh, this guy's not here. Let's move on."
Wait, what you won the award for?
It was I belong to this association apparently called the Fantasy Sports Writers Association. And every year they do this big award show in Las Vegas where everyone from the industry goes, from like NFL Network, Pro Football Focus, all that stuff. And they have this award show, and apparently I won one.
What was the award for?
Newcomer of the Year, which
More like latecomer, am I right?
which is weird because I'd been writing for like at least like 5 years or so.
Well, it's like when an indie band wins, like finally
Best
gets
artist.
mainstream success and then wins like best new artist at the Grammys.
Yeah, that's what I did. I was like an underground fantasy writer for a while. And then
Ryan would have loved you. Shit, where is he?
and then my byline made its way onto SBNation.com, not just the corner of one of their boutique sites. And I think that's why I was good enough for the fantasy mainstream to win Newcomer of the Year. But it was tight though. It was really it really was cool to win that award, and I point to it on my shelf every time somebody comes into my house, and then seconds before they inevitably leave my house because I pointed out an award on my shelf.
Now, you know. Now that I know that, what I'm going to do is after our draft and I receive our league trophy, I'm going to walk into your house, and when you point to it, I'm going to point to that.
All right. Well, then when I come to your house, I'm just going to start carrying the trophy or carrying the award to every place I go. From here.
You just a table for two, please.
Yeah.
One for me and one for Miss Shiny Gold Thing right here.
She's actually very transparent and plastic, not shiny and gold.
Oh, you're talking about... Damn. See, if I wasn't friends, if I didn't think your wife was so awesome, I'd be like, oh, like your wife? Oh, shit. That would have been a blow-up doll reference, though.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, man. It's like the award is very, it's very Prism-like, I guess.
Very Prism.
So what's next, Dan? How are you going to avoid that sophomore slump?
By winning best second year.
Second comer of the year.
Second comer of the year.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. But honestly, Eric, you are probably more prepared for fantasy than I am at this point. I know you're way more mock drafts ahead of me. You have way more mock drafts in your pocket than I do right now.
I'm fucking obsessed Because I stopped playing Magic the Gathering, so I have nothing else to do but play fantasy football in the off season.
I think that's kind of what happened. Is you went from Magic to fantasy, and I've gone from fantasy back to music for a while.
Yeah.
So that's happening.
Dude, that's what's been. Yeah, I went from one fantasy game to another. Is what happened, really.
Yeah, you're just transferring the addiction.
Yeah. Rob, do you have any nerdy interests?
I have a sister who's pretty nerdy.
She's like, no, just getting pussy, man. Getting pussy.
No, yeah, I'm your average LA douchebag. Small, modern form.
You can elaborate, dude.
Um,
No, you're concise. That's actually okay. Rob, have you started your podcast since?
I did start it.
Can you tell us about it?
It's going good so far. Me and my two other buddies who are doing it, we just kind of riff about like national headlines and kind of just make jokes about them. That's mostly what we're focusing on right now. I guess like the best comparison would be like SNL Weekend Update, but it's like we can swear and be a little bit more dirty with it than, the national network.
How often do you do? How long are your podcasts?
Right. Well, the first two that we did, they were like 4 or 5 minutes each, but that was just like a test and just get stuff out there. But right now we're averaging maybe like 30 to 40 minutes. We'll do about like 6 to 8 headlines and
nice. Yeah.
riff about them and riff about each other a little bit.
That's cool. I like that concept that you actually riff about them once you tell your jokes. Which is good. No, that's really cool. Dan, what are you showing us?
This is Mutantis.
Where are you?
I don't know.
That's the best like hungover response. Like, I don't know.
I'm at Tom's house.
Does he want to come in for a little bit?
I think he did briefly.
No. He can jump on in. We all love fucking Tom. Rob doesn't know Tom. Brad knows Tom because they were both indisposed in the bathroom at my wedding. Don't worry, they weren't fucking. They were just puking everywhere. Both I found both of them in stalls. Brad, do you remember what you said to me when you couldn't get out of the bathroom at my wedding and I came in?
Yeah, I was like, thank you for coming back to me, or something like that.
You said, you came back for me. I was just checking because I thought 2 different members of various parties were banging in that bathroom, and I wanted to make sure that they got out of there because all the doors were locked. My wedding was fun. Did you like my wedding, Dan?
It was good as shit. It was extremely good shit.
Did you come to the after party? I forget.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah. Well, because I remember a couple groups of people went to the bar waiting for the after party to start, and I thought you were among them, and some of them kind of got lost. They just got hammered and never showed up to the party.
I got lost. I was at the bar for way longer than I was supposed to be. I was waiting for the after party to start, and I remember kind of just rolling up there with a martini glass, and that's how I know I'm wasted.
Dude, Brad, when we had this, Rob, so we had this guy, a friend of mine named Roddy, who's a professional magician, like, for real, like, flies all over the place to do this. And he, at the ceremony, he asked, he was like, can I do, not the ceremony, at the reception, he was like, can I do, like, I did this. Oh, man. That extended laugh was me trying to find a joke to riff off of, and then I was like, I'm not funny, just keep going. So at the reception, he does this trick for, like, it's like this trick that's really cool that, like, with, I don't know.
Wait, did he make your wife disappear, or?
Oh my god! I did that. Just please don't make that happen again. So I have to edit this fucking thing. Did nobody catch that? Dear God. It's on YouTube live as we start. Whatever. So he did this trick. It's like it's a cool looking magic trick, but it also like it's this like wife husband together forever type card trick. Oh, whatever. You know? So at the reception, he's doing that, and so after the after party, we got him drunk enough and convinced him to do like a 20-minute set. And it's this incredible like magic trick. Like the dude is amazing. And Brad was pretty gone at that point. And every time he did a trick, Brad acted like an audience member at fucking Def Comedy Jam. Like, oh,
but it wasn't acting. I was not acting. I was mind blown.
And he kept, and once you discovered the double doors that opened very loudly behind you, every time he did a trick, you turned around, shoved open the double doors with this giant, like, thwack, and then went, oh, shit! And then they would close behind you, and you'd hear you still in the hallway, muted by the doors, yelling out that you were.
Drunk magic is the best magic ever.
Dude, that sounds like a great comedy show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
what a great magic show.
A comedy
I would
magician.
love to have people react like that. I went to the Magic Castle, and it's like, you know, people are just clapping. But if someone freaked out like that, like, oh, shit. What?
What? Yeah. You want Aziz Ansari as whatever his character's name is in Parks and Recreation as all of your audience members. You just want to Photoshop, copy, paste them in the whole row. Yeah. Oh shit! I was supposed to be looking for another topic as we were doing this. You guys are good. You guys are good. Any of you guys have like substance abuse problems we can talk about? No, I was.
Sometimes I wish I did.
Well, I wish I'd be cooler then. You're like, how old are you? 20 to 22?
Yeah.
There's still time.
Yeah, I'm in that age range.
Well, that's what I was thinking about, like, with alcohol. Like, my relationship with it was kind of like, and Brad, if I don't give a fuck if there's a punchline in this, you can talk about it if you want to talk about it. It'd be like if someone told me, I don't know, like, wait, what the fuck is this? Oh, yeah. If someone told me that the world's out, that, like, alcohol supply was just gone. It's just all gone. I'd be like, you know what, that's cool. I'll be okay. But then if you said, like, oh, I'm just fucking around with you, I'd be like, all right, well, seriously, where's the fucking beer? Where's the beer? Give me the beer. Like, that's how it is. Like, I don't know, how do you guys feel about substances in that way? Like, just don't give a shit about, like, if they existed or not, but because they exist, it's pretty sweet. Like,
you know, I would be mad, but I would know that other people would be pissed.
Perspective.
Like, people would be flipping cards, but I'd be like, you know, I'm a little upset too, but I'm not dead.
I'll get by.
You're too hungover today to flip cars. I can't Dan, what are you doing? Glamour shots?
Am I?
Dan's like, I'm still drunk.
He stuck a pose real quick.
Yeah, I can't tell if he's posing or if he just froze.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
Tom walked in again, and I was enchanted.
Yeah. Yeah, why? Can he put on some goddamn pants and come on the podcast? He doesn't even need pants. Just don't put his dick in the frame. Jesus.
I'm not wearing pants. It's fine.
No,
I don't need
yeah.
pants.
We're getting ready to go to brunch.
Ooh. Hey, no, get Tom on. I want to talk to him about living with Travis is like, and that he can slay ladies now.
Dude, he's gone, man. He's fleeting. He's too fast for you.
He is. He's off to get more pussy and tell more jokes. He's
Yeah.
fucking everybody in my life. Rob, don't leave me.
It's pretty awesome life.
Yeah.
That's
Telling
how we know
jokes.
you have a hungover.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna go get brunch.
Oh, man.
I'm a card-carrying white person today.
Yeah. Oh, man. Speaking of card carrying, have you gotten download cards for your band to pass out everywhere you go yet?
When my band has music to pass out to people, absolutely.
What about your YouTube videos?
Oh, do you download? Can you have download cards for YouTube videos?
Just do it for you. I argue that I know I love Bandcamp, but I would argue that your main focus for both for comedy is great because you got Twitter and YouTube's directly linked to comedy, but for band stuff, do a Facebook, do a actual website, do your Bandcamp, make YouTube your hub. I'm telling you, that's what a couple years from now. People are going to be like, man, I wish I had a YouTube page when there were only like 100 bands trying to promote YouTube pages. Like, just fucking do that. And so for your download cards, absolutely make it YouTube. And Rob, for comedy shit, I'm telling you, man, that get your YouTube, get all your shit on YouTube, get it all tagged and described right, get your podcast on YouTube too, and fucking go to Vistaprint, and spend the whatever $75 to get 1,000 of like business cards printed that and don't make them look like business cards. Put like a design on them, put some shit, put a picture of you with a microphone and your sweet hipster glasses, and get it just right. I'm telling you, dude. And even put maybe in the inscription on one side you could have like your YouTube page, on the other maybe a funny joke. That's a terrible idea. Don't do that. But seriously, get like
I've seen exactly what you're talking about. Every single comedian out in Los Angeles,
and you all laugh at them.
Except for the joke. I never seen someone print out a joke on their business card.
I saw a magician once who gave me a business card and he lit it on fire, and it was totally fine. It was totally fine. So that's what you should do. We remember we established drunken magic is the best magic. So that's probably what has to happen.
Well, that's either way. That's definitely what I do for that. I don't. Rob? Does it work when they pass out their cards? Is that?
Yeah. I mean, like I keep their information.
Yeah.
You know, like I kind of like if I know who they are and like what they do and like, you know, like because usually what ends up leading up to the business card transaction is they have a show or they do some kind of entertainment. So you kind of want to keep in contact with that person.
Yeah, which is great because you actually have a natural progression of that. With bands, people don't just come to the show and then you say, hey, check us out online. And when that happens, that's great. But with bands, it's always, we need to find ways without even doing a performance of getting these people to come to the shows. With comics, it's nice because you can do like a mic where people just generally come. And then you're like, well, hey, if you liked what you heard, here you go. Which I think is really a good boon for that. I think comedians need to learn a lot from musicians about how to market themselves, but musicians need to learn a lot from comedians about how to make better art and progress. I feel like songs just get written in your head or written in a basement, and then you play them live, and no matter what happens, you just keep doing it. But comedians, they have these. They can tell when something works and when something doesn't based on a crowd reaction, and they keep working on the same thing for a long time and always evolving it. And then you got in comics also they share shit with other comics. Bands, it's very rare that bands will just go, hey, can you listen to this demo from another band that they like, and just can you give me some feedback and actually make those changes? I feel like that never happens.
Because bands are pricks and they don't. And they don't want to help anyone else get ahead unless it's directly for their own benefit. I
don't even think it's that. I think they're pricks because they think that they have all the answers for how their music is supposed to sound. Maybe not pricks, maybe just lazy.
That prickishness, laziness, and total insecurity as well. So,
yeah, dude, I fucking hate music.
Yeah, dude, it sucks. This is something that I'm really trying to I'm trying desperately to come to terms with this. I really want to make music. I feel really good about this project right now, but I'm so anxious about kind of being involved in a music scene again because I don't want to be disingenuous and I don't want to be around people who are. Yeah. And I understand that you can't let a couple bad apples spoil the bunch. So,
thanks, Dad.
But put that in your pipe and smoke it, and other colloquialisms from the 1920s.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, that's the end of that sentence, I guess.
That's a good end. Yeah.
Dan, you would beat the shit out of so many people out here in Hollywood.
Probably not.
Dan, you would give your business card to so many people out there in Hollywood.
Yeah, only if it was on fire, though.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's kind of what I like. What you guys, it seems like what you guys are doing, which is what I'm doing with my acoustic thing, which is just acoustic thing and everything else I'm doing. Just put out content. I get it if you really want to make a living doing something, give yourself the best shot, yeah, you need the promotion, you need the networking, you need all that stuff. But if you just, for me, what it boiled down to was I just want to create. I don't even necessarily want to make things better and better. I'd rather, instead of putting out one great EP a year, I'd rather put out 5 EPs a year that I think are potentially great, as opposed to spending so much time working on them. Give 2 months, record something, give 2 months, record something. Same with the podcast. I thought about, writing jokes or writing this or writing that. But the truth is, I don't want to perfect something. I just want to put out stuff. I want to do stuff. I want to talk to you guys. I want to just have these in-the-moment things and put them out. And it sounds like that's what you're doing with your band. You're putting out a record, but you're also putting out a shit ton of YouTube stuff. And you're taking it from multiple angles to try to like put out content, which is cool. Which in the end, I think is really what matters.
We have a plan, you know. It's not just the fact we want to create. You know, there's definitely ulterior motives to it too. You know, we want to definitely get in a position where a lot of people check us out. So we're just trying to generate as much of an awareness, I guess, as possible from now until we finally have our recording done.
Yeah.
So that's why we've been doing just a whole bunch. We're doing like a cover song a week and just posting it on YouTube.
What covers have you done so far?
We just posted "Here Comes the Sun" by the Beatles. Before that,
I'm sorry, is that an underground band?
Yes.
Okay.
And then
Some of them are.
Oh shit. Yeah, they are. It's because they're dead. And,
oh my god, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go on. What's the other one you posted?
The other one was El Scorcho by Weezer.
That's for Brad. Like I didn't know.
Also, but we got a whole bunch of others waiting in the wings. Some posters.
You got some wings?
Yeah. Is that the expression?
Yeah. No, it's just Wings. The band Wings.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
He's not dead though.
So you can't do it yet.
Yeah.
By the way, Brad, they have a girl singer, and I know girls and Weezer are your two favorite things. So I thought you might.
She's really good.
Just getting pussy and listening to Weezer, man. I need music videos in my life. Pussy and Weezer, bro.
That was actually going to be on our band's logo.
Pussy and Weezer.
Pussy and Weezer.
Oh my god, that's my favorite vaudeville comedy team, by the way. Pussy and Weezer, ladies and gentlemen.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so we got that. We got some Third Eye Blind shit.
Oh, nice. What song are you gonna do?
Slow Motion.
Wow, I'm gonna enjoy seeing her sing those lyrics about stabbing dudes.
Yup, pretty much. And,
that's actually cool because you guys said you had a very Rilo Kiley vibe to your original stuff.
Yeah.
And it's one of the smallest aspects of Rilo Kiley, but still an interesting one, is a foul-mouthed lady singer with a beautiful voice.
She's bitter as fuck, man. I can't wait to get in the studio and just hear soul-crushing lyrics, essentially, just completely embittered and hardened.
Yeah.
But that's definitely not an overstatement of anything, by the way.
She puts up her own covers on YouTube, right?
Yeah, she did that for a while.
If anybody has a reason to be bitter, it's someone who's experienced YouTube comments. So that's absolutely the case.
Except she's one of the rare occurrences where every comment she's gotten has been positive because fuck her, essentially.
Because she knows how to use the delete button, or.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
Could be, but I don't think so. I really don't.
All right, so it's.
What's the name of your band? Where do we check you out?
Oh, we're called Parks Landing. It's we got a YouTube channel / Parks Landing. Same with Facebook as well.
All right.
And just content and shit there, essentially.
Sweet. Okay, so it's a little afternoon, so we're gonna wrap up. I'm gonna go on. I was gonna start the plug section, but Brad's a better host than I am, which is just fine with me. So we'll go down the line. Any plugs? I'm going to try to get this up. I have a couple backlog podcasts I want to put up. I'm going to try to get this up in the next 2 weeks. So keep that in mind for plugs if anything's coming up. So, Brad, what do you got to plug? You have a Twitter.
Eventually.
You have a fucking Twitter. Like, do you not give a shit about anonymous?
I mean, it's mostly just like retweets of national stuff if you like baseball.
All right, so what's your Twitter?
Twitter.com/B_Hartland.
Is just at B_Hartland?
Yep.
Yeah, nobody wants a Twitter link. It's bullshit. Like, I'll post it for convenience and be like, why don't you just put at Eric Tries? So you can follow me at Eric Tries. All right, Dan, do you have any plugs specifically?
Yeah, like Parks Landing on Facebook and YouTube, and we are going into the studio in August to record our very first EP, and plenty of news revolving around that will come out soon.
Nice.
And Rob, I'll have to see if you just are going.
Well, I'd hate for people to get confused and be like, "Oh wow, Dan has a Instagram Comic Rob Banks account."
Wow, dude, what if he had just sniped that from you, like right now? He's like,
I know people walk up to Dan like, for some reason I can't find your music. There's just this weird, like young ass kid just telling jokes on the YouTube page or something.
And robbing vaults.
holy sh!
Doesn't have any money, but he seems to be robbing banks. So I'm on Twitter, Instagram / Comic Rob Banks, Facebook. The URL is Comic Rob Banks, I think. I don't know. To search Rob Banks comedy, I think it will pop up. I don't know.
All right, sweet.
Uh,
Yeah, you got any shows coming up in the next couple weeks? Or
I do have a show. I hope you, if it works out, where the podcast is up before the show, then you should check me out. June 30th, I'll be at Flappers in Burbank, California.
Nice.
So,
Sweet. Yeah, it's the. You said what? When is it?
June 30th. It's a Tuesday.
I'm gonna try. That's 16 days from now. I'm gonna try to get these like 4 or 5 up or whatever, and I will for you. I should be able to do that. All right, sweet. All right, well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Ryan, we missed you in the second half, and you looked great today. And enough of that shit. Starting next week.
Good.
All right. So I will catch you guys later. Thanks so much for coming on.
All right. Thank you, man. Good to meet you guys.
You too.